talk about that as well. I'm going to just have to finish this a little bit. Please forgive me. Multi-organisational collaboration, these are some of the categories. This map has been done to give you an indication. This was a map that Cindy and I did in Canberra 6 weeks ago. And that's in the different categories here. In the middle, we've put the ones that are transition decade, onto that already, and then the ones that would be trying to bring across and work the outreach through in a highly collaborative, flexible and honouring way. And in summary, getting to yes, 3 phases in this particular model, building engagement, 100% reach, and it's multi-organisational collaboration. And now we'll hear from Cindy for a few minutes. This is about some emerging trials and the Canberra experience, the story so far.
Okay, so we took on this challenge, being very inspired by what was happening down here in Victoria. We came across the work that came out of Climate Emergency Network, Philip's work, and then into Giselle's work, and we thought we really want to give this a go because Canberra's so pre-positioned. So we've spent 18 months basically doing that deep familiarisation, deep respect in terms of the organisation, and now we've actually undertaken to start the preparation. So that's actually been planned, and it started last week in terms of having our first Sustainability Network meeting. What we've actually done is put together, can you hold that, Giselle? So we've developed the map further. Basically, we've gotten every sustainability group which is in the ACT region. It comes up to about 87 altogether. We've mapped in everything from consumption through to waste, through to energy, etc., just grouping like with like. In terms of the challenges, the biggest challenge that we've come across is that everybody wants to mobilise, but nobody really knows what they want to mobilise to, or nobody wants to actually go and meet people where they're at. So that's why we're very excited about the work that's coming out of Victoria, particularly like Beyond Zero Emissions, the Zero Emissions Decade and that sort of stuff, because it helps us actually specify where we're going to. And that other challenge is, like I said, there's a lot of people that want to go around and convert everybody, and what we found is that that's one of the biggest barriers, because people don't want to be converted. People want to be met where they're at, and they want to be inspired to actually go on and do things from there. So that's... The other one is sense-making, the need for a sense-making node somewhere within the organisation. So it's not a hierarchical thing. What's being suggested by the T10 plan we think is very valid, not from the sense that somebody needs to be able to tell everybody else what to do, but somebody actually needs to be somewhere in the network making sense of what is happening and being able to reflect that back to people so that we can get a full sense of what's happening. This buzz that Giselle talks about is already happening in a lot of places. Certainly around Canberra, it's very much the conversing capital. Everybody wants to talk about it. Not very many people are actually taking that next step. So in terms of opportunities, the opportunities are personal relationships, and personal relationships, as anybody who works in community development would know. The opportunity to bring into their active initiator groups and be able to help shape them from inside, we found has made a really big difference. To be able to actually map what we're doing so that we can explain it to other people, but now we're in the process where we have to take that completely flat and blank again and take it back to people so that they can find their own space within it. And then being able to identify the synergies and put forward the opportunities where people can intersect, interface and be complementary to each other. So basically what will happen from here, we've got 3 major events happening between now and September. September 10, the Switch to Green happens, which is an ACT government initiative that the UN Association puts together. That's followed by Floriade, which is followed by the Walk to Work Day, which is followed by the Cycle to Work Day, which is followed by 350.org Global Day of Action, which is then followed up in December by the Global Day of Action around Copenhagen. So what we're hoping is that between September and December that we can get this buzz that Giselle talks about really happening, and that will help us politically with our activism to try and raise the profile of things happening in Canberra, and it will help us locally to be able to do the transition for a 10-year plan.
Now back to Luke from the Sustainable Living Foundation to talk about the potential role of SLF.
I just need about 2 minutes. Please honk me if if I go too long. I just there was a question earlier about where the idea came from and what is maybe the potential role of SLF. I just want to first maybe just get a little bit more clarity on the concept, because the 10-year concept is certainly not owned by SLF, and this isn't a proposal for that today at all. Groups like Beyond Zero Emission Group, who've talked today, have been working in a 10-year time frame. Lester Brown actually said quite a number of years ago, came in 1990, he started the 10-year decade concept. So this is something that has moved around in international circles for quite some time, and it has a history. The proposal is that SLF takes a lead in initiating it here in a local basis, so that it can help to plug in, if you like, and support those international seeds that are germinating all across the world as we speak. So the concept, how SLF could potentially fit into the concept, and this is the proposal that's before us at the moment, and in a moment Michelle's going to speak about the process of a proposal that will go through the SLF internal process, and today is obviously, as we've said, is to help building that. But essentially, one of the roles that SLF could play in helping to initiate, with an underline under initiate, because it could very well be that what we're doing is helping to create something that we may have a part in the future, but certainly not be the sole drivers. And as I said, we already aren't the sole driver. So, but this is a specific, there is some specific characteristics, if you like, of this proposal that we've laid out today, and that will evolve with the discussion that follows with you. So what we're seeing here, this is a very simple sort of egg diagram about SLF taking an initiator role, and today's, we see, could be the first stage of that, and then moving on through the waves, if you like, or the layers that are much broader in the sustainability movement and beyond. So that could take the shape of a guiding group, which has already taken place to put this meeting on. In the future, that group could potentially take the proposal and move it forward to a next stage. That may mean then in the future potentially that a coalition of other groups might come together around the concept of the campaign and move it forward to the next layer. So currently at the moment there's no set prescribed end, if you like, but the concept of SLF taking an initiating role in the vision is the proposal that we're putting on the table today for feedback. So I hope that's clear. There's vagueness about that, obviously, as I said, but it's deliberately vague in that we want to take an initiating role, but not to have closed carriage of it. Obviously, it can't, because we need it to move right through the movement and far beyond.
Here are our top 5 topics that have come directly from the board. What we've done is to facilitate discussion around a topic rather than necessarily a particular issue or action. This is your topic. The top black is your topic, and then we've just shown you what the actual post-it note said in red. So generate collective social will was written on the post-it note, and social will in general is your topic. And then number 2, space, is about, the topic is community leadership, and the post-it note was building champions in all segments in the community. Space 3 is community transition, and the post-it note was create transition towns in every suburb town. Topic 4 is political change, and the post-it note said vote Greens. And topic 5 is infrastructure change, and the post-it note said every residential and business centre in Australia is easily accessible by public transport. And I hope people can see a bit of a connection there in order